So let's take a look at this link between these recent teen killers and video games.
Violent video games increase aggressive behavior as much as lead exposure decreases children's IQ scores.
Where is the artistic value of shooting innocent victims?
They put guns in the hands of little kids and teach them how to kill.
He was trained to kill with Call of Duty and other video games.
For many years, there has existed a notion that people who play video games which contain violence are more likely to commit acts of violence or become overly aggressive. Since the late 1990s, the media has helped to exacerbate the idea that somehow playing violent video games results in teens and young adults committing violent crimes. The media first latched onto this idea in the wake of the Columbine High School shooting in 1999. When it was discovered that the shooters were frequent players of the then popular video game Doom. Over the years, this topic has been widely debated, and extensive research has been conducted by researchers who stand on both sides of the issue, including the entertainment industry and clinical psychologists and mental health professionals from around the world. Lawmakers have even joined the debate, proposing increased taxation on games and other media which contain too much violence. But what does the research really show? Surprisingly, there is no evidence to support the claim that a correlation exists between video game violence and real-world violence. If we look at the arrest rates of juveniles who commit violent crimes, we see that since 1994, there has been a significant decline in the number of arrests. In fact, violent crime arrests for juveniles is at a new historic low, nearly 3 times lower than they were in an era before violent video games gained the popularity that they have today. But arrest rates alone do not tell the entire story. In 2008, the Pew Research Center conducted a study, the first large-scale quantitative study to date, in which they sought to determine exactly how video games affected young people. What did they find? Well, as it turns out, they had an extremely difficult time finding teens that didn't play video games. Their survey showed that 97% of their sample group of teens ages 12 to 17 played video games in some form, either on a console or computer, or on mobile devices like iPads and smartphones. And this is an important figure, because it shows that playing video games is extremely pervasive into the lives of American youth, but not in a bad way. Pew's study found that 74% of their survey group were committed to civic participation compared to those who didn't play video games. 68% had raised money for charity or volunteered in their communities. So it would appear that with something to do in their spare time, these youths were substantially less inclined to commit crimes, and this data accurately corresponds with the juvenile arrest rates tracked by the DOJ. The truth is that the answer to that question lies somewhere in the middle. While it is true that some extremely troubled people play violent video games, it's not true that all people who play violent video games are extremely troubled. The violent outbursts that garner all the media attention are so infrequent that in scientific terms, they're not statistically significant. If a person is so unstable that playing a game triggers something inside their brain that causes them to blur the line between fantasy and real-world violence, then maybe they shouldn't believe everything they see on TV.